Death and beyond. How will time flow after death? The Quran says that 1,000 years pass like a day. Is there really a long wait between death and resurrection, or will everything happen instantly? In this article, we will examine the concept of time in the Quran from a scientific perspective. And you might reach a conclusion beyond what you already know. The Quran clearly shows that time does not flow at the same speed everywhere. Our perception of time on earth can function very differently in another dimension. The Hajj, passage 22, verse 47 states, "They ask you to hasten the punishment, but the God will never break his law. Indeed, a day with your Lord is like 1,000 years of your counting." This is an important verse showing that time can function differently for different beings. Similarly, in the Sajda, passage 32, verse 5, the God says, "He arranges all matters from the heaven to the earth according to his law. Then these matters ascend to him in a day whose measure is 1,000 years by your reckoning." These verses clearly show that time in the God's presence is completely different from what we perceive. In fact, with a simple calculation, we can find that a person who lives 80 years on earth lives approximately 1 hour and 55 minutes in the God's presence. Although the period between death and resurrection may seem endless to us, our perception of time can completely change. The Quran reveals that we will perceive this as a brief period. The Naziat, passage 79, verse 46 states,
"On the day they see the hour, it will be as if they had stayed only an evening or its morning." This means that even if thousands of years pass after a person's death, they will feel as if they have awakened from just a momentary sleep. Just like in our earlier calculation of 1 to 2 hours, this is an incredible analogy. This expression is very similar to our dream experience. Even when a person sleeps for hours, they sometimes feel as if only a few minutes have passed. Our perception of time after death will be similar. Indeed, science also tells us that time is not absolute. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, time slows down for an object approaching the speed of light, almost coming to a standstill. However, an object with mass cannot move faster than light. Quantum physics shows that the observer's perception of time can change. In other words, time passing for one observer might be different for another.
The Quran's emphasis on the relativity of time perfectly aligns with modern science. If we consider our soul as light, a massless entity, then it wouldn't be wrong to say that the soul will make a kind of time travel at the moment of death. According to traditional belief, people will suffer torment in the grave during the period between death and resurrection. However, the Quran speaks of awakening directly to resurrection after death. In the Yasin, passage 36, verses 51 and 52, the God says, "When the trumpet is blown, behold, they will rush forth from their graves to their Lord. They will say, 'Woe to us! Who has raised us from our resting place?' This is what the Most Merciful promised, and the messengers told the truth." These verses show that people cannot wait in their graves for long years, but rather they will wake up to the day of judgment as if in an instant.
The concept of time in the grave is similar to our sleep state. Just as we are unaware of time passing while we sleep, the same will be true after death. The Rum, passage 30, verse 55, emphasizes this. "On the day when the hour will be established, the criminals will swear they had remained only for an hour." This verse clearly shows how different time perception will be in the afterlife. What seems like thousands of years to us on Earth will feel like mere moments there. Modern physics supports these Quranic concepts through various theories. Time dilation. The closer an object gets to the speed of light, the slower time moves for it. Gravitational time dilation. Time moves slower in stronger gravitational fields. Quantum entanglement suggests the possibility of instant communication regardless of distance. The Quran's description of different time perceptions isn't just metaphorical, it's a scientific reality we're beginning to understand better with modern physics.
In the Mu'minun, passage 23, verses 112 to 114, The God describes another aspect of time perception in the afterlife. He will say, "How many years did you remain on earth?" They will say, "We remained a day or part of a day." Ask those who keep account. He will say, "You stayed only a little if you had only known." This consistent theme throughout the Quran shows us that our earthly understanding of time will be completely different in the afterlife. What seems like an endless wait between death and resurrection will pass in what feels like an instant. And also, because we remained faithful to our Lord's commands, we will be greeted with peace by our most merciful Lord. The Zumar, passage 39, verse 73, and the Yasin, passage 36, verse 58.